person that called in from the UK, your part of the world.
All right.
Machiavelli, if you had a question for Miss Valerie Jackson, your line should be open.
Can I be heard?
Hello.
Yeah, hi there. Thanks for being a guest on the Cows, and most of all, thank you for being as honest as you can be. I was just curious to know what part of the UK did you do most of your work in? Are you in London? Are you from outside London?
I actually come from the north of England. I come from the Lake District. But when I did the work, I was living in London. I lived in London for 20 years. So I based a lot of my research on what experience I had when I was working in London, working in the colleges, and being a therapist.
Okay, so specifically, what part of London? North, south?
I was living in northwest London, and I was working from. I take it you know London, do you?
Yes, I live in London myself.
Yeah, I was working from West London, from all the people who sent in their sort of personal experiences were from all over the country. But when I started doing this work, I was working in West London in the colleges round there.
Okay, and also, are you still active now?
Yes, but not in London anymore. I'm now out of London. I'm in Cambridgeshire.
Okay, wow. Do you get much opportunity to talk about this part of the work that you did in Cambridgeshire?
Hardly ever. It's a very white area still.
Okay. Thanks a lot. That's all.
Thank you.
Good to hear from you, sir. I do think that is very important. The point we touched on right there in the book, and I appreciate the honesty. I think that's one thing. Any of the white people that want to know what they can do, never lie to a non-white person. That is one thing that white people could do that would be immensely helpful. As much honesty as we can bear at all times, that would be incredibly helpful with regards to solving this problem. But I think that is a key aspect of how racism works on a real subtle level. I think it is very important for the maintenance of white supremacy racism that there be the illusion, and I will just say there be the false illusion that there are some white people that are not racist. I think that is incredibly important, that non-white people think that there are, even if it's just a handful, that there are some white people that are not racist. I found that is a real important concept in the system of white supremacy, and I believe that it's false. Because even Jane Elliott, a lot of the people that folks would point to, and well, it's not that many of them for starters, but then the people that they do point to, Jane Elliott, she's on this program. She is still a racist. Many of the white people who, alleged to be doing anti-racism work say they would have a very tough time finding you a white person that they could say, this white person is not racist. I wouldn't even know who to point to. I think that is a real important aspect, and that's something that I would caution non-white people. If a white person, if they do great work, and I told Miss Jackson before we got started, I think her book has a lot of great information, but she did say that she's a racist, which is not surprising. I appreciate that. That's something that I think is important to keep in mind, because I would just expect her to be acting out on those racist ideas. We're in a racist, white supremacist world. I would expect, she's a white person, I would expect her to be acting as a racist from time to time, regularly. This conversation tomorrow, next week, next year, I would just have to expect that. And that would be the case for any white person. I would expect at some point this person is going to function as a racist if they are white. And I think that is extremely logical for any non-white person, really anyone who's being honest. It's extremely logical for them to say, yeah, that makes sense and it's accurate. The entire record of history with white people and their relationship to non-white people would evidence that is true. What I've just said, does that make sense? Is it accurate?
Yes, I think it is. I think what the best we can do as white people is strive against our racism, knowing always that there are still hidden aspects to all of us where it still lingers. So I would never ever call myself non-racist, because that would be insulting to people of colour across the world.
Do you think it's possible for someone to be white and not racist?
Unless they've been sort of trapped in a tower for centuries, then no.
Wow. Very important. A lot of black people, a lot of non-white, as you wrote in the book, that the system has been working so well that a lot of black people get infected with those racist ideas and they don't even realize it. I think a lot of black people, most black people, I would say, do not understand that. In fact, I think most of the black people that I come in contact with, they strongly assert that black people are racist too. I think that's how good a job white people have done in practicing white supremacy and confusing non-white people. Most of the black people I come in contact with, they believe that black people are capable of practicing racism against white people. So hopefully this program will work towards correcting that. Really appreciate you taking some of the time out of your Wednesday evening to speak with us. I hope people got some value out of the program. The sex abuse issue, we'll be talking about that regularly so you can compare and contrast with some of the different folks that we've had on to talk about this issue. I would just encourage folks to keep in mind the information that we've shared today. Our guest joining us live from the UK. Again, how many folks out there who are listening from different parts of the world can say, wow, this information is relevant, it makes sense, and I see it happening where I reside. Again, global system. This is not something that's just isolated to the UK or the United States, North America, wherever. Global system. This is a problem worldwide, and in my view, you will see a lot of these same dynamics play out wherever you happen to be on this planet. Is there anything you would like to share with our listeners before we get ready to wrap things up?
No, just thank you very much for inviting me onto your program, Gus. I've really enjoyed this, and it's actually been quite interesting to revisit the book. I am a white woman. I am racist by the nature of my history. I can't help but be racist, and I will do my best to continue to work on myself.
Right on. You can visit the website if you want to get more information. It is Valerie Jackson Consultancy.co.uk. Valerie Jackson Consultancy.co.uk. And the book, if you want to check that out, Racism and Child Protection: The Black Experience of Child Sexual Abuse, published in 1996. You can get it on Amazon. I think it's on some other websites too, but I know it's on Amazon. Racism and Child Protection: The Black Experience of Child Sexual Abuse. Really enjoyed having you on the program. We will look forward. I always appreciate having white people who are willing to be as honest as we can bear. I definitely would look forward to having you back on the program. I'm sure there are going to be some other issues popping up around racism, things going on in the UK, so we'll definitely stay in touch and look forward to having you back on the broadcast.
Thank you very much, and yes, I'd be very happy to come back on the program anytime.
Oh, right on. Well, we will hear from you in the future. Thank you again for doing the work, and please enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Bye.
Context of White Supremacy. Wow. I have to thank, I'm going to send this to Miss Coleman, Sylvia Coleman, the black female who was with us a couple weeks ago. Her website, again, is blacksurvivors.org. blacksurvivors.org. I'm going to send her the program and thank her, because that's how I found out about Miss Jackson's book. I didn't even know she was a white person until she had agreed to come on the program. We had set a date and everything, and then she dropped the, oh, by the way, I'm a white person. Racist, admitted racist. We'll take a quick commercial break, come right back, and close out, see if anybody has anything they want to share before we wrap things up. Context of white supremacy.
RacismDaily.com, your number one source for global news reports on race, racism, and overt action.